As we were, um, okay, it's steady. Let's get into this. So I know this is kind of off, but I like talking science with you guys. And I like to share information, especially when it starts popping up left and right. And mitochondria in our gut microbiome has been popping up left and right. Just this morning, I'm taking the boys to school. I dropped them off. And usually when I go to pick them up and it's just me, or when I have to drop them off and I'm coming home, I'll listen to podcasts. Um, if I listen to music during those times, I tend to just skip, 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 and I never land on a song. So instead of going through that process, I started just listening to podcasts. I like to do it anyway. It gives me the chance to listen to it without worrying about, um, you know, what's going on outside of me. Do I need to clean? Do I need to work? Am I working? Because if I'm working, I'm focusing, especially if I'm working on one of your meal plans or one of your programs. I need to focus so that you can get the right information, right? You can get helpful information. And this is a topic that keeps popping up, not just in my podcast, but in your questions as well. A lot of people are asking about energy lately. It's coming into spring. Our energy should be increasing naturally, but some people are struggling with that. So we talked about mind and or gut and brain connection a lot over the last year. This is another element of that. Now, when we talk about mitochondria, when we learn about mitochondria in our biology classes, this is the energy powerhouse of your cellular structure, right? It's the part of your cell that helps you metabolize energy. It regulates energy production. It helps to um, alter and balance basically that reactive oxygen that flows through all of our cells. I don't know why that was a struggle for me to get out. And my brain was trying to figure out what word to say. So anyway, the mitochondria actually do more than just act as our powerhouse. They do more than just act as the power plant, so to speak. And Dr. Chris Palmer was on one of the podcasts I was listening to um, over the weekend. And one of the things that he said that really resonated with me is your mitochondria are like the workers in a big city. So if you look at your cells, each individual cell as a metropolitan city, there are people that have jobs all over the place. They're the street sweepers. They're the people that manage the street sweepers. They're all the way to the governor, person that pours your coffee in the morning. The person that tosses you your smoothie as you're walking by, or running by late for work. These are all people that we need to make sure that life that life flows smoothly within our cities. But what about within our bodies? That's what mitochondria do. That's basically their role. To keep it a little bit more scientific, the three things that mitochondria actually are responsible for are regulating your energy production, that metabolism of energy, right? So it is transferred into a usable source for your cells. It's altering the reactive oxygen within your cells so that it is helpful, and regulating immune reactions. Now, when we are struggling with any sort of mental illness, any sort of autoimmune function, this is the component that can get a little wonky, right? But it just brings us back to we have to make sure our health is on point if we are dealing with any immune compromised situation. Now, this includes fighting a cold. It includes allergies. It's not just chronic illness and autoimmune, you guys. Anytime that your immune system is compromised, excessive stress, spontaneous stress, something that hits you because of a trauma, something that hits you because of something exciting, those are all stressors, and it can compromise the immune regulation function of our mitochondria. That's great, right? But what do you do about it? So let's start with just the mitochondria itself. So now the mitochondria are actually made up and use certain nutrients. All right. B vitamins, phytonutrients, polyphenols specifically. And why do I say phytonutrients as well as polyphenols? Because some people don't recognize that polyphenols directly come from plants. It's not instantly connecting in their brain. So, your phytonutrients, your plants variety, eat a rainbow. Our mitochondria need the full spectrum, the B vitamins, the selenium, the L-carnitine, the alpha lipoic, why can't I say that word? Alpha lipoic acid, ALA, CoQ10, creatine, quinone. All of these things contribute to healthy functionality within our mitochondria. They feed our cellular structure so that our cells can do the jobs that they are created to do. Okay. Just like I'm a nutritionist and you're whatever you are, whether you, like my husband's a salesperson, he's a sales manager with new homes. So we need the new home sales to create housing. We need realtors to sell and buy homes, right? So that those of us who've bought homes can rebuy and can upgrade or downgrade depending on your situation. They also help people find housing in, in apartments and condos. Did you know that? There are leasing agents. They help you do these things and they're free to you. So don't think that you have to spend a lot of money on them. And then just like we have all these roles, and why am I focusing on house? I'll get to that in a second. I am totally focusing on the house market for a reason. Psychologically, I want to get your brain there. The things that are harmful to mitochondria. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to see if you can follow me on this list. You ready? CRAP. You know the acronym? Excess caffeine, refined foods, artificial foods, processed foods. What do these include? Plain sugars, enriched flours. Gluten's on the list, dairy's on the list. That's controversial. There are some studies that actually say that it's only if you have a sensitivity to gluten, or sensitivity or intolerance to dairy. There are other studies that are saying that it's everybody, that we should all give up gluten, that we should all give up dairy. The only thing I'm going to say about dairy and animal products is that you want to avoid the hormone, the ones that contain hormones. Avoid those. Organic doesn't necessarily mean it is hormone free. Make sure your meat, all your animal products are hormone free, eggs included. All right. And I get it. If you eat eggs every day and you have a big family, that can get quite expensive, especially nowadays. But especially for women going into menopause, if you have PCOS, if you're struggling with any sort of hormone imbalance, you do not want to contribute hormones and add hormones to an already imbalanced body. So avoid the hormones. And I'm bringing up animals because mitochondria actually love animal nutrients. That's not to say you don't eat the polyphenols. One of the top recommendations I found for mitochondria and the health of your mitochondria is 6 to 9 cups of fruits or vegetables a day. Now, before you freak out, that is 3 to 4 servings of fruit and 5 to 6 servings of vegetables. It is the same recommendation. That has not changed. It's just condensed to a measurement that you can use. All right. Physical activity, exercise, strength training specifically, strength training and cardio, any aerobic, anaerobic, stretching, yoga, meditation, anything like that. It helps your lymphatic system flow. It gets that movement going. Without muscle movement, things just don't happen. There's certain functions that just don't happen. Cortisol production, things like that, those aren't regulated as well without strength activity. So mitochondria, as a side effect, are impacted by a lack of strength and resistance training. If you're struggling to lose weight, we need to add that in. It might be a situation where you just simply don't have the energy, you don't have the wherewithal. If that is the case, Let's chat. There's a way to do it where you don't feel like you're dedicating an hour and a half of your life to this. And that can feel very overwhelming for people. Okay. Um, Another crucial element, and I'm going to keep harping on this forever, is a healthy diet that provides your body the nutrients that it needs. What that means is learning signals, learning cravings, understanding what they mean, and feeding your body. Avoiding sugar, avoiding refined foods, avoiding artificial foods, processed foods, high unhealthy fatty acids, nix the trans fats completely. Granted, there's a few, coconut oil is actually a trans fat. So I know a lot of you say, well, coconut oil has all these healing benefits. Yes, they do. Just don't eat it all the time. That's all. Just don't make it your main oil source. Use a variety. So effectively, a healthy diet for a healthy mitochondria would include a high healthy fat, healthy protein diet comprising of not only animal products, but a large portion should be phytonutrients from plants and minimal sugar. Now, what does all of this have to do with your mindset and your mental health? Well, remember I was mentioning housing a lot? All right, so we have a foundation. If our foundation is not healthy, sturdy, strong, the house falls apart, right? And the worker bees trying to maintain the house, the mitochondria, are struggling to keep up. When we first started building this house, they poured the foundation and they got framing up. Everything was good. We come to walk in, they had put the walls in, and there was this section in the driveway inside the garage that looked like it had just popped off, which indicates a foundation that isn't quite sturdy enough, that there was some sort of malfunction and degeneration within the foundation. If that foundation is not strong, it doesn't matter what else the worker bees did to our house. It would have cracked and it would have fallen apart at some point, probably sooner than later. So we had, oh my gosh, you guys, our master bath shower specifically is the bane of this house's existence. It is the bane of this house's existence. We asked for a shower pan, something you could just walk right into, not walk over and down into, walk into, right? You've seen it. It exists. It's fairly common, right? For some reason, they couldn't quite get it. So we come in and the shower concrete's been poured, but it's wrong. There's no pan. There is a very specific hump. I didn't want that. I trip all over everything. Why am I going to want something that I trip into? It makes sense. 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen is I'm going to trip in, I'm going to break the shower glass, and then we're going to have glass everywhere. I'm going to end up in the hospital. I already have a scar. I don't need to do that again. I'm clumsy. I move fast and my brain has to struggle to catch up. Drew does the same thing. So I see it and I'm like, oh man, I don't know how to stop this because this is something that I just naturally do and have always naturally done. And it seems like he's got the same issue. So anyway, I didn't want this hump. I wanted to just walk in. So engineer comes out. And what has to happen is when they pour foundations, and if you've seen this already, it's okay. But for those of you who don't know this, they put rods in, right? And they put all these rods in, they crisscross them, and there's a specific pattern that they use to ensure that the foundation is strong and sturdy, right? They use specific components, just like your mitochondria, you use specific components to make sure that the foundation that you're pouring, that you're building, is strong and sturdy. So they have a specific pattern with all of these things. And they were going to have to cut into that. Now with these ties, what happens is they lay them out. They connect them and then they stretch them taut, like so taut. If you cut them, they snap and could kill somebody. Okay. So now the concrete's already been poured. We've got the wrong foundation. They've got to break up the concrete, cut into these ties, redo the ties. They can't stretch them because concrete's already been poured and started to cure. So if they stretch them to try and fix this, then it's going to break up and compromise the integrity of the rest of the foundation of the house. When you compare this to nutrition, you're looking at compromising your mitochondria by taking out healthy and putting in unhealthy. The unhealthy starts to break away at the foundation and causes degeneration in various areas, right? It causes stagnation because things can't do their job properly. By creating degeneration in our house foundation, it can compromise the rest of the house so that worker bees that come in, namely us, taking care of our house, when we try and take care of various things, like the brick outside was cracking and we couldn't figure out why. I mean, we ended up finding out why. Don't buy ceramic brick. Buy brick. Do not buy concrete brick that has been manufactured. We wanted a white house. We should have just gotten brick and painted it, but hindsight's 2020. But cracks in our brick, cracks in the frame, cracks in functionality, doors, windows opening and close. The comparison to this in our bodies is your movement, your stress levels, the healthiness of your immune system, your ability to manage and regulate autoimmune symptoms. Talking is challenged today. Autoimmune symptoms, your ability to regulate chronic stress. All of these things are related. Those are places where you get cracks, where your doors aren't opening and closing well, your windows aren't opening and closing well. Now, to make this long story of the shower short, they ended up cutting it. They put it back in. They had an engineer come out. We had somebody come out after we were in the house to make sure foundation was structurally sound. Everything was fine. The little pop in the garage, when they poured the foundation, it was windy. And the wind blew a piece of plastic onto that part. The plastic fell. The concrete went over it. There was plastic sticking out, and nobody caught it. So basically all we saw was a piece of plastic with concrete inside of it that you just and popped right out and had nothing to do with the rest of the foundation. This happens with our health too. But for the most part, the whole reason I'm using that as our example is this. What you put in your body, the way that you treat your body is helping you maintain your foundation. If you are not maintaining your foundation with healthy nutrients that it needs to do its job, then things start to fall apart. And a lot of times, the very first place that they fall apart is your brain. It's with your mindset. It's your mental well-being. If you're not feeling stable, you get grumpy. You are short-tempered. You don't have any patience. When someone says something to you, you automatically feel attacked. And we're not talking about trauma responses. We're not going there today. What I'm talking about is just your body trying to sustain itself versus thriving. And the way to thrive is to make sure that your mitochondria, your energy power station, is fueled well, that it is fueled properly so that it can help the rest of your body, the rest of your factory, do its job. This is how you create a more positive growth mindset. It's the foundation of that. It's how we create more energy. You want more energy? Start eating healthier. I don't care if you have a processed burger and fries, add a salad to that. If you're not ready to give up the processed food, just start adding vegetables in. Here's what happens. The joy of our phenomenal bodies is when you're not ready to give them up, but you know you need to make changes, just adding small little things in triggers healthy cravings in your body. You're creating healthier habits without going to drastic measures. And a lot of times, if a client comes to me with autoimmune conditions, chronic illness, or something unknown, they just know that everything's making them sick, we make very small, minor changes like this that over time becomes so much more. All of our programs are designed so that if you were to go into them, you would have the tools to either do them as is or to slow them down a little bit. Not only are we here to help you, but we're also providing you guidance. This is a step-by-step process. When you walk into my 7-day program and you look at it, that kickstart is very detailed, and it's very detailed for a reason. I want you to have the tools to be able to help yourself. Okay, it's easy for me to sit on these shows and say, well, you should be eating this and you should be eating that, and make sure you're getting your 6 to 9 cups of fruits and vegetables, make sure you're getting your strength training, make sure you stay active, make sure you're eating a healthy, balanced diet that is low in sugar, healthy in as many natural ingredients as you possibly can find. But implementation can be a challenge. And I want you to have the tools to be able to implement healthier habits and healthier structures so that you can restore the integrity of your health foundation. Mitochondria, just one key component. And if you look at your mitochondria as the worker bees within each one of your cells, and there are a lot of cells, and each cell has a different number of mitochondria based on what their functionality is supposed to be. Well, if you were a boss, you would have to pay your workers, right? So for the mitochondria in your body, the way our mitochondria in our cellular structures in our cells is paid is healthy, unprocessed, unrefined, natural foods. Make sure you're getting enough healthy fats. There are definitely some studies out there, especially within the intermittent fasting arena, that are proving that healthy fats are a key component to mitochondria health. Without lubricant, how do you slip and slide and move around the world? So go eat that healthy diet. Make sure to get your fats in. If you need help, as always, we're here to help you. If you are interested, Wild Free Health is open. It is in pre-launch. The Kickstart is in there. Go check it out. We're here to help you. There is the gut health assessment that is in there that gives you a view of what's happening in your body so that you can start putting things into place and kind of have a checklist of what you need to do to improve the health of your gut and overall body. Body, mind, and spirit. That's what we're all about. And everything starts with what we put in our gut and understanding the signals that our body is sending so that we can respond and maintain the integrity of our health foundation. So, all the links are going to be down below in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Monday. Cheers. I'll see you guys later.